Okay, so the channel has passed 800 subscribers, and tomorrow is the channel's third birthday. So big thank you to everyone who's recently subscribed. It's really appreciated, and obviously there's a lot to talk about even with a lack of sport going on, there are still things to talk about. And yeah, a lot of it is coronavirus related, and it's not necessarily what everyone wants to hear. They want sport to return. They want to know that they can go and watch games, be it on TV or actually in stadiums and arenas. But let's go back 3 years. 3 years ago when this channel started, it was a video diary. It was a video diary of a grumpy 27-year-old who was out of work and had not been very well for the previous 6 months. So it was not necessarily the best content if you wanted to watch. It was just a guy grumbling about day-to-day life and not having a good time of things. And then three things happened that summer. Newcastle United got involved in a tax fraud investigation. Neymar went to PSG for a record transfer fee, which is near enough £250 million, and Mark Sampson got sacked from the England women's job over bullying and racism claims. And those three incidents are the reason why we have a sports channel rather than just a video diary of someone looking at the world go by. And then some other things happened, like the Rugby League World Cup. Really amazing tournament. Lots of people from around the world watched my videos on that, and subscribed because of that. And other sporting events have followed. We've had Winter Olympics, we've had the World Championship Ice Hockey, we've had the World Cup football, Rugby Union World Cup, we've got the Rugby League World Cup coming up soon. Massive sporting events, massive sporting stories, transfers, sackings, clubs going out of business, teams getting promoted, teams getting relegated. And throughout all of this, Newcastle United is possibly the club that I've done the most, the team that I've done the most reporting on. I've done the most video content on. Because throughout this entire 3-year period, the club has been up for sale. There's been multiple takeover bids. And the tax fraud investigation that no one's reporting on is still technically active as far as we're aware, because it's a French legal investigation, not a British one. And as we know, the French legal system is notoriously slow and inept. And now we're on the precipice of Mike Ashley selling up to Amanda Staveley, the Saudi Public Investment Fund, and other investors in this consortium. And it's really interesting, bizarre times, because the coronavirus has forced his hand, but at the same time, he was overvaluing the price of the club. But it's been a saga that has basically mirrored the channel. The channel has mirrored this saga. It's been going on in the background, and every so often I'm reporting on it. And it is really interesting that when that comes to a conclusion, that's going to be an end of a chapter of this channel. I could have a playlist on Newcastle United alone. I've done the history of his ownership. I've followed every step of every attempted takeover bid. Every single one, from Amanda Staveley's first public bid to now. That includes the Peter Kenyon ones, that includes Bin Khalid, and it's just been a protracted saga that has really damaged the club. And I've seen the comment sections on all those videos, and the Toon faithful are getting frustrated with the lack of progress, and very cynical. And that's a shame, because it's a club with the most passionate fan base I think I've ever seen in English football, ever. I've come across many supporters of many teams from around the world, but I've never come across a fan base like Newcastle United. Ever. It doesn't matter how the team are doing, they will pack out St James's Park. It doesn't matter if they're fighting for European places or fighting to stave off relegation, or if they're in the Championship, they will always sell out St James's Park until this season. This season, things changed. And then something's gone seriously wrong. I think the protracted takeover saga, and with the amount of bids and the fact that the club has been up for sale for the entire period the channel has existed, is mad. So I'll be following the Newcastle United story going forward as well, and see what the new owners, if and when the takeover is completed, what they do and what they invest, and what changes. Does Steve Bruce remain manager? Do they bring someone else in? What actually happens? On another channel note, obviously the next goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of view time in order to get monetisation again, which we have for a brief period at the end of 2017-2018 before YouTube changed the rules for the third time in the space of a year when it came to monetisation. 2017-2018 was not a good time to be a YouTuber, because you weren't certain if your channel would meet eligibility and requirements. It was really uncertain times, really was. But on this standpoint, going forward, while there's a lack of sport, it is frustrating. I'll try and report on the sports news of the day. There are some key sporting events and things happening. We've got the World Rugby election between Bill Beaumont and Augustine Pichot. It'll be very interesting to see who comes out and runs World Rugby until the next election. That'll be really interesting. We obviously have the standoff between the PFA and the Premier League, and we don't know what's going to happen there. There may be restructuring in Scottish football. The Champions League and Europa League may be played out in August. The seasons may not get completed. Newcastle United, obviously, the takeover. The NRL, who do they appoint to replace Todd Greenberg? So if you're a rugby league fan, there's uncertainty there. And then you have the North American major sports leagues. We don't know what's going to happen with them. So we're going to have to follow all these unfolding stories to do with this current lockdown, which looks likely that at some point between now and September, sport will start resuming again. It's just a question of which sport goes first and how they do it, behind closed doors or with fans in attendance. It's going to be really interesting to see how the various sports leagues and authorities around the world ease the lockdowns and how sport can get going again. But in the meantime, you'll see a lot more sports history videos. You will see player profiles. You will see athlete profiles, team profiles. We're going to have some more sports history videos because that's always something fun to look at. And I'm going to try and look at smaller teams, lesser teams, not necessarily the big ones like your Man Uniteds, your Liverpools, your Chelseas. I'm going to try and look at clubs that have won less silverware, but are still very, very important in the sports that they participate in, and the leagues they play in as well. So watch this space for the sports history. It's going to be a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing them in previous years with the NRL. And football and ice hockey. I've done a few in the past. I'm really looking forward to actually doing some more, looking back at certain sporting events like World Cups and Test series and league seasons, and going, right, which is the worst or best team for a generation, that kind of thing. So we'll have some more sports history videos coming up. They are great fun. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Thank you to all the new subscribers, and stay safe out there, because obviously these are very uncertain times. Please try and stay safe, and I'll have some more videos for you very, very soon.